Now, about another issue involving Australian symbols. Daniel, as we've reported here on this show quite a bit, Woolworths has banned the sale of Australia Day merchandise because it says it wants to respect all shoppers when given not all agree with the day. I mean, how about respecting the people that actually want to buy this stuff? Daniel, you've actually checked out the Woolworths board, hoping to understand how it could approve this kind of extraordinary decision. What did you find?
Well, that's right, Andrew. When you look at the board of directors, there's 9, including the CEO, and 4 of them also sit on the boards of other woke corporations which either funded or supported openly the voice to Parliament, those companies being Telstra, NAB, ANZ, Qantas and Origin Energy. And this gets to a couple of key points, Andrew. The first is that there is no longer any diversity of opinion in corporate Australia anymore. You mentioned diversity of every other kind, but the one kind they don't want in their stores or in their boardrooms is that of a diversity of political views and social views. We've seen that with the Voice to Parliament, we've seen it with Australia Day, we've seen it with climate issues as well. Secondly, Andrew, big business has all but given up advocating for policies which are in the national interest. It wasn't that long ago where business leaders would lead debate on key economic issues like productivity growth, reducing the tax burden, cutting red tape and regulation, improving competition so consumers get a better outcome. Now they are preoccupied with these divisive, woke issues, and it's no wonder why trust and confidence in big business and corporations like Woolworths is at an all-time low.
Well, Daniel's point is interesting, Evelyn, because I actually wrote in my column about this, I think it was on Monday in the News Corp papers. There is almost like a different sort of social class among board directors, etc., where they all do tend to think alike, because being picked out by social media as the different person, the straggler, the not right thinker, could kill them if it came to applying for another board position with someone like Qantas or for a government board position. The same thinking is right at the top.
Absolutely. Look, I think it's just clearly another example of left-wing people not giving a hoot about what the majority want. These sorts of people say that they are champions of democracy, but what they usually mean by that is the exact opposite. It's the same old virtue signaling we have come to expect from these big corporations, from these people up the top. But here's the thing, the public are getting very tired of it. And that's encouraging because the public can be very strong when it comes to capitalism. And perhaps the public should let these people know who are calling the shots that they're not happy about it. And maybe that's the only thing that's going to make a difference in direction for these people and for these companies.
Yeah, but Daniel, is Evelyn right that the public is not falling for it, they're against it? I wonder if there's in fact a generation gap and whether Australia's falling through it. Now, two viewers, Frank and Di, tell me they bought Australian flags at a $2 shop and they walked around a Woolies store in protest at the ban on Australia Day stuff. They had a lot of fun. But I'm told by Frank that when one of the flags fell from his head onto the floor, a girl told him that the floor was where our flag belonged. So I just do wonder, can we still win this fight when we've had a younger generation inculcated into this anti-Australia feeling, this anti-Australian flag feeling?
Well, I share your concerns, Andrew, but I think we can win this fight. You look at the Voice to Parliament, 60% voted no. That included 45% of young people and 55% of young men voted no to that. And that came down from about 80% support to begin with. So I think young Australians are similar to all Australians. When you make a debate, when you put some information in front of them, they can be persuaded. But it is clear that if we don't fight for our values, if we don't fight for our way of life, we will lose. And you've been doing this day in, day out for many years, Andrew. We do it at the IPA and many others, which is to talk about Australia is a good country with a proud history. And yes, there are concerns with the education system. Clearly, it's indoctrinating rather than educating young Australians. But I have a lot of confidence and hope for the future. Out of the Voice debate, we're seeing this pushback against the anti-Australia Day brigade and big corporates. So we could take a lot of confidence from that, Andrew. But clearly, we have to keep going and making the arguments.
All right, a good country, but a troubled future because now see the Teals, the Teal independents in Parliament, in federal Parliament, they're demanding a new global warming target, cutting emissions by 75% by 2035. I mean, that's only 11 years away. Now, I thought they claimed not to be a party, but here's their joint party demand. Evelyn, 75% cuts. You see all the wind towers going up, etc., etc. Are even deeper cuts that fast really realistic?
Look, these targets are absolute bogus. And, at this point in time, the only way that they're going to be able to achieve it is through force and coercion, banning people from buying things and using things in order to achieve their delusional goal. And you would only need to do that, Andrew, if you didn't have a genuine alternative that people would be willing to embrace. And that's the thing. You didn't need to legislate against dial-up modems because a better alternative arrived. You didn't have to legislate against broadband because a better alternative arrived. And you shouldn't be allowed to legislate what people can and can't use until a better alternative is offered. Something that is more effective, something that is cheaper, and if not cheaper, at least something that makes up for that in quality. And until we have that, it's simply not realistic, and it's detrimental to business, it's detrimental to households, and it's especially detrimental to the nation.
Daniel, I'm almost out of time, but what's your view?
Well, this shows why you can't concede ground, Andrew. We're just talking about Australia Day. Well, if you give up on that, then they'll want Anzac Day. This is, the coalition signed up to net zero. So they conceded that ground, and now it keeps getting pushed further and further. Everything that Evelyn just said then is correct. It's the inner city elites, once again, seeking to impose their costly, divisive agenda on mainstream Australians in the suburbs who can't afford it, and in the regions where it's going to destroy their farmland.
Yes, and these Teals said, we're really actually, like liberals, but, with global warming. They're not liberals if they're going to propose things that really damage the economy and really hurt the poorer people of this country too. Evelyn Rae, Daniel Wild, thank you so much indeed for your time.